A former Disney Channel actress says she was shot in the face at her husband's birthday party, and the pictures are shocking. Christy Carlson Romano, who you will remember from iconic shows and movies like Even Stevens, Cadet Kelly, and as the voice of the one and only Kim Possible. She shared that she feels grateful to be alive after the incident, as well as showing some really severe injuries to her face. But among the many comments of sympathy, the event has somehow caused huge speculation about her political beliefs, with a flood of negative comments, some even saying that she got what she deserved. So what's the deal? How did she get shot in the face? And what did she say or do to upset people so much? Let's get into it. Trigger warning though, her injuries are pretty graphic, so if you don't like that sort of thing, I'll just gap now. Christy posted last week sharing her injury on Instagram.
I have to say I got shot in the face and lived to tell the tale.
Her caption explained the situation further, saying, "Yesterday was my husband's birthday, and I took him to shoot clay pigeons as a present. There was another party with us, and they unsafely fired in the wrong direction and shot me in the face." In her video, she continues to point out the multiple shots on her face, including one which can't be removed safely right now, so it's still just in there.
I got shot here. It is still inside. There's a fragment there. There's a fragment here.
Those injuries look really rough, like ouch. And not to make light of the situation or anything, but can I just say, her lashes look amazing. Like after being shot in the face and going to hospital, those lashes have really stayed on. I mean, her lash tech should be really proud. I mean, that doesn't matter, but wow, good for her. Christy also thanked the first responders who helped her, calling them hero people. But gosh, man, those shots were so close to her eye. It's lucky she's okay. And she finished her video by saying,
"Be grateful for every day.
I was hit in 5 places. One was less than an inch from hitting me directly in my right eye. If you don't know what claybird shooting is, I got you. It's a sport enjoyed by many. It evolved from shooting real life birds to shooting these fat discs. Essentially, you're shooting fake birds for fun. When shotguns are used to shoot the little disc, and each shot from these shotguns contains hundreds of small metal balls that spread out to form a cloud of rapidly moving projectiles, making it easier to hit a moving target. It only takes approximately 3 of the little metal bits to break a clay saucer disc thing, and Christy took 5 to her face. That is so scary. Apart from the fragments that are still in there, she is okay. Her husband, Brendan Rooney, shared a photo of Christy in the hospital with the caption, "My wife gets shot. I asked to take a picture for the record. She flips me the bird and smiles. She nearly lost her eye, mind you." When they say there's no such thing as the one, they lie. There's multiple comments on her post that just say MAGA, and others who even went as far as to say they wish she got more injured than she did. So where did this come from? Christy posts her Disney life as a successful podcaster and content producer. Her podcast More Stevens dug into the nostalgia chat around the Even Stevens show. It was quietly cancelled in 2023, but her solo podcast Vulnerable is still going strong. Her and her husband own podcast production company Podco, which produces Christy's podcast as well as other millennial nostalgia trips like the Wizards of Waverly Pod. In her Vulnerable podcast, she talks pretty openly about what life was like as a child star and where she is now. She's never explicitly said anything about being a Trump supporter or even shared her political opinions in general as far as I can tell, but it's maybe her silence that has left enough space for people to attempt to fill in the blanks themselves. The fact that she was at a shooting range was one of the reasons that people thought she might be Trump-leaning, and the fact that her husband is a Marine. But both of those things are obviously up for interpretation. It could have something to do with the fact that she really likes Harry Potter and has made content about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not into Harry Potter.
Obviously, J.K. Rowling's views in the last decade have become increasingly controversial. So I get it. I get why if you were a fan of Christy and not a fan of J.K. Rowling, you might find her Harry Potter content uncomfortable. But is it enough to pop a comment saying she got what she deserved? I don't know. So I kept digging. I got pretty deep into this team, by the way. I couldn't find anything where she explicitly stated who she voted for or explicitly stated her political opinions. I went through her follow list on Instagram and there was nothing in there that jumped out at me. But she does follow over 4,000 accounts, so even if I did find something in there, I don't know if it would mean anything. I went through Reddit, and although I found a lot of people who don't like Christy for other reasons, again, nothing popped out to me super strong about politics. But I did find this. a 10-minute Facebook video from 2022 titled, "What Donald Trump is Really Like." And honestly, it is kind of boring, sorry, but she talks about a time when she was 7 or 8 years old in a touring Broadway show and was invited to attend a party at Donald Trump's house. Rather than her own direct experience with Trump, the story is mostly about how she perceived adults' reactions to him. And she tries to emphasize how famous he was in the 90s. She doesn't really say anything positive or negative about him politically, but here's some key moments that were kind of interesting to me.
Everybody talked about this party for weeks and weeks and weeks. I still would have remembered meeting him even if he hadn't started to become into politics, because he branded himself so specifically with his name all around Manhattan.
Christy goes on to mention a few times that she thinks Trump's branding is really good.
There are really interesting takeaways when you see people going from start to finish. I mean, there's so much to be learned.
Towards the end of the video, she does clarify that she's not trying to be political at all. She just finds Trump an interesting case study. She then talks for a good few minutes about why the video isn't clickbait. So yeah, team, interpret that one however you want. That was the most I could find. I feel like I must be so out of the loop. But Christy has faced negative comments and controversy around some other things she's said over the years, like her claim that Katy Perry stole her music career. She also refused to take part in the Quiet on the Set documentary, which was an expose on abuse within Nickelodeon. At the time, she said, quote, "These are trauma tourists," which yeah, fair enough. Sure, totally. But fans were quick to point out the irony that a lot of her content is around being a child star, and she speaks to various abuse survivors from the industry. Most recently, she appeared on Special Forces, World's Toughest Test, where she lasted 8 episodes and at one point was buried alive. Okay, girl. Christy is also working on a memoir, so we might get some more insight into her political beliefs. We might not. But her shooting incident has certainly brought a lot of attention her way. But unfortunately, not all of it has been supportive, and her husband says he won't forget about it. Instead of rallying behind her strength and resilience, some have turned it into a chance to speculate about her political views. It's a reminder of how quickly we can let differences in opinion overshadow empathy, and how leaving things up to interpretation might not always be the best idea. What do you think? Is Christy a controversial figure to you, or just an actress you used to know from TV? Thank you so much for watching. Tune in again, 5 videos a week where I'll explain everything that's happening on the internet and the world for you. I'm nosy and I like to look into things, and I'm here to help, okay? If you're confused about something, you're like, who is this Christy woman? Let me know. I'll find out. Don't worry about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm here for you 5 days a week. I'm your friend. Have a parasocial relationship with me. I'm kidding. Don't. You can. No, you totally can. I don't mind. There. See you tomorrow.